Okay, this is Call Me Ishmael Behind the Scenes, Season 1, Episode 2. And this is still George. So this is my high-tech video work. And so hopefully today I'm getting a little more comfortable talking to you guys on air. I noticed the first couple of tries that even though I don't feel afraid of recording myself for YouTube, I still was pretty uptight. So hopefully this will get better. For your information, the last episode 1 took almost an hour to upload. I had it on high definition, or UHF, ultra high, and now I've set it down to a lower setting. I think it's like 4K is what they call it. And the other thing we're trying today is a wireless microphone. And at the end of this, we'll test that out. I'll walk away and see how far it holds on to a good connection. But today I want to go a little bit further into what the big picture is here. I effectively grew up with the Muslim community. Now, as a child, I was born in New York, Long Island. There I was in the German-American community. I was second generation from Germany. But after I came to Indiana, I dropped out of high school and joined the Army. And that was at 17. I actually turned 18 in the country of Turkey. Now, let me tell you a funny story. When I got to Turkey, they said, "Oh, George, you're going to love Turkey. There's a beautiful woman behind every tree who loves Americans." I thought, wow. The entire 50 kilometers from Istanbul airport to our post, not a single tree. So anyway, I was taken in by several groups of Turkish people. Now, in Turkey, while it is an Islamic state, or at least that's the predominant religion, it's much more secular, like we are here in the United States. Even though we're a Christian nation, there's not many people that read their Bible, that know their Holy Scriptures. And I would say that's the same thing predominantly within the bigger cities, particularly in Turkey. So anyway, spent a couple of tours in Turkey. I picked up the Turkish language fairly quickly and also worked with the Kurds, the Peshmerga. Got a car coming through. And everywhere I went, people took me under their wing. Now, part of that is because I learned the language fairly quickly. I'll tell you another story about that someday, how to learn a foreign language at 18 years old. But they took me under their wing, and basically I became a man during those years. And then after I was done with my military time in the 1990s, in Fort Wayne, Indiana, there was a small but growing Arabic community. I'm trying to remember, Sudanese and Ethiopian immigrants who once again were very open to me and welcoming to me into their community. So I have never had the experience of being afraid of anybody from the Muslim community. Now, I haven't been in Dearborn, Michigan lately, which I understand there's some higher tensions between Americans and the Muslim community there. But I have never experienced any Al-Qaeda or jihad type people coming after me. I've certainly pissed people off, but I've never had a negative experience with Muslim people, albeit most of them, like I said, were secular, just people trying to get by in the world, which I think that's true of all of us, that we're all in this together. Now, some of us are more together than others. If you're within a tight-knit Christian community or Muslim community, I will say that my experience with the Muslim or Arabic peoples are much more tribal, much more smaller community groups. But that wasn't totally foreign to me either, because like I said, I grew up in the German American community, and they stayed pretty much isolated from the general American public. But anyway, what I found is that for whatever reason, my upbringing made me unique in that I'm not afraid. I have no reasons to be shy about walking up to anyone who's Muslim. And truthfully, like this outfit, I was given several outfits to attend weddings and ceremonies, primarily from the Peshmerga, the Kurdish community, who are kind of treated like rednecks or hillbillies here. They were pretty much ostracized or rejected from the mainstream community in Turkey, who are, most of the people I met in the bigger cities were trying to become more Western-like, more European-like. But the Kurds were pretty much jerks when it comes to fitting in with the larger community, which it went both ways, I have to admit. But what I hope to be able to bring to you, particularly within the Ishmael's Call community, which is a Christian organization that's trying to reach into the Muslim community, is a simpler way to connect with people, particularly us Christians, evangelicals or secular. We talk about religion as being a non-starter, that it's about relationship with God. But we're not good at relationships ourselves. And I'm going to, I hope, welcome you into a way to turn down the temperature of connecting with people. And just, the first step is really just being friendly. Now, some people, particularly fresh from other cultures, very, very few cultures I've been around and that I've researched are comfortable with our ease of connecting in the United States. Waving hello, saying hello, starting conversations with strangers, standing in a line and just checking people out and talking to them. It feels comfortable for us, but other cultures know that that seems disingenuous, or you're trying to get something. There's a much lower trust thing going on. And so one of the things we're going to be talking about is how to build trust and how to connect with people. Now, many of you already know, and basically takes getting out of ourself and our self-focus, our self-fixation, fears, or whatever it is. I'm still not comfortable yet. I think I need someone else to talk with, that's where we're going to go with our main podcast, a group of people around a table discussing Quranic verses. As we have the Bible, Old and New Testament, Muslims have their holy scriptures, primarily the Quran, which is the revelation of God through the prophet called Muhammad. And we're going to be discussing that and noticing the similarities and differences between the Quran and the Bible. Hopefully, that's going to allow us to get to a much deeper understanding of each other. And where I've seen the problem up to now with the apologists or people trying to connect with the Muslim community is primarily the first thing they do is, oh, this is what you believe as a Muslim. And I grew up as a Catholic, and people still to this day tell me what Catholics believe. And first of all, we were never that good at Catholics, but that's one of the first things that turned me off, and I think turned a lot of people off, when people presume to know how people relate to their God. So the whole process that we're going through is going to be step by step, building a real relationship, a trust relationship through questions. So we're not going to say what you believe. We're going to ask very strategically important questions as we go through the Quran of what the belief systems are. And I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised by all that. This is episode 2 of Behind the Scenes. Because the other thing that I want you guys to be able to do the exact same thing we're doing here. That yes, there is a learning curve of how to do a video, how to engage, and how to do things online. Because I expect primarily this is going to be older people. I'm 72 now. And it was tough enough that I didn't want to have to learn all this stuff. But I'm going to keep it as simple as I can just because I need to manage my learning curve. And I want this to be repeatable by other people, to be able to connect and help, particularly the Muslim community, do a cross-cultural engagement within us Americans, because we want them. We need to connect better with people. And some of us have a heart for our faith paradigm to reach into a different cultural demographic. And so we're going to learn how to do better questions, particularly about faith paradigms. And we're going to learn possibly, some of you that are watching this are not even that sure about your own faith paradigm, let alone conversing in your own scripture, which would be probably the New Testament, but maybe the entire Bible, the Old and New Testament. But that's where we're going together. And there's like at least 104, it might be 114, I forget, chapters in the Quran. So if we do one a week, which that's the goal to start with, is to do one meeting a week and do cover one chapter or 50 to 70 verses per week. That's still going to be a long time for us to get through with all of that. So there's plenty of time to learn, plenty of time to mess up and to get better, and plenty of time for me to be more comfortable and to be more real with you when I'm talking and when I'm sharing. So your homework, should you decide to accept this challenge of doing a cross-cultural engagement to help people connect with our American Western culture, is to, and I'll put this in the description below of this video, is to watch the video called Dancing Man Leadership. It's a pretty fun, interesting take on how to start a movement, how to get people engaged and to come together on a common goal. So anyway, that's what your homework assignment is. And I've got one more thing to show you. Oh, I said, this is called a Hollyland. I'm looking at the box over here. Lark M2. I'll put that link in the description also. That's all it takes. It's just a little, very small microphone. I'm going to see how far I can go away, and then that'll be it for today. So, what was the assignment? What was the assignment? To click on the link or look up for yourself on YouTube, Dancing Man Leadership. That video is going to be what we're going to talk about the next behind the scenes, which is kind of those of us that I call disciplers part of Disciple 3.0, which is online community, finding and connecting with people from a different culture. And as I said the last video, I'm focusing, and this video series will be focusing on people with a specific faith background within Islam. Now, you might be trying to reach into other, maybe Hindu and Indian cultures, or Jehovah's Witness culture, but knowing their scriptures and then comparing their scripture to your scripture, developing poignant questions to probe deeper into a specific person's faith paradigm, faith worldview, will help you connect with that person individually rather than as a category, that they're a real person that have real unique faith worldviews. So that's what we're going to do. Oh, last thing I'm going to do is see how far away I can get with this wireless microphone. So here we are. A little further, a little further. So now I am at least 100 foot away, 30 meters, and this wireless microphone, hopefully it still sounds pretty good, but that's what we're going to be checking. And I don't see myself getting any more high-tech gear. Maybe some software things to help. I think I already told you. Primarily, I have my Bible and I have a Quran now that I'm doing my research in, but using Google and AI, Google Gemini, to research the material that we're going to be sharing. So that's it for today. Remember, just one homework assignment, and it's entertaining and it's informative too. You're going to like it. Check in the description below, but it's called Dancing Man Leadership.